All right, so as promised, we wanted to let you take a look at one of the image-based backup applications that we use here. If I use the term Aperture or Replay, please know that I'm referring to this particular application. It is a product that is owned by Dell, if you care, but we've used this for about a year and a half or so. We're in the process of taking a look at some other ones, but they look, feel, and behave very similar. So that's why I wanted to let you take a look at this one here. Upon first login, you can see the name of the appliance here, and you can also see the name of the protected servers along the left-hand side of the screen. You may not be able to see all of them. They may be blurred out just for customer protection. However, just know that all of the servers listed on the left-hand side here are ones that are currently being backed up and protected by this particular application. The first thing we'll look at is the overview that you can see. This is basically the dashboard screen. And so the first thing you look at are the list of protected servers, when the next snapshot is, and when the last event message is. This will tell you how frequent or the latest time that one of these servers has been backed up. So in one view, you can see if it's been a tremendous amount of time since the last one. If you selected this replication tab, you will see, or you would be able to see, if something was replicating to this appliance, or if these servers were being replicated somewhere else. And it will actually tell you how much of those servers are being replicated currently, how long it's going to take to finish, and all those types of things. This is an event log here. We're not going to go through all of these because it's kind of monotonous, but please know that just like any good server or appliance, this thing will have an event log to actually tell you what's going on. Here's where you can see mounted recovery points, and we'll cover this in a moment, but please just know that these are some recovery points that are currently mounted for viewing. And then of course here's where you can take a look at reports for this particular appliance. There are several versions of reports that you can pull out of here, all for information and or troubleshooting purposes. Here's where you can configure alerts to be sent via email if you have no other way of capturing those things, either via WMI or SNMP or other ways. Here's where you can configure, again, email alerts. Here's where you can configure nightly jobs, things like roll-up and things of those nature actually run nightly, and I'll describe what roll-up is later. This is the replication schedule that you can configure for this particular appliance. These are the number of concurrent snapshots that can be handled. Basically what this means is the amount of simultaneous backups that can occur at once. Here's where you could configure daily reports to be either emailed or you can configure reports to be generated and saved in some sort of local directory. Next thing we'll do is go back and actually look at some of the options that are available on the individual servers themselves. Okay, so I've selected one particular server on the left-hand side. I want to show you what this looks like as far as the dashboard for the particular server itself. You can see that in the same way that there was an overarching dashboard for all the servers if you look at it at the appliance level. This thing will show you everything happening for this particular protected server. You can see how frequent this server is being backed up. This one happens every hour. It will also tell you when the last snapshot occurred, as you can see. You can see what local drive on the backup appliance these images are being saved to. You could see there's options called virtual standby, which is basically a business continuity or high availability feature. What this does is this allows you to continually export the latest image of this virtual machine to be stood up at a moment's notice onto a virtual infrastructure. Here's where you can simply export one single recovery point in the event that you want to have that on hand. Perhaps right before you're doing maintenance, something like that, and that will allow you to basically have that image there and ready to go in the event that something happens. And then here's if in fact you had replication enabled from this BDR to an offsite vault. Now down here you can see the options that are configured for this particular server on each individual drive. You can see that as with many applications, this is showing protected, of course. This entire disk gets protected. It is compressed, it is deduplicated, and it also has various checks on. This particular one has volume integrity checks that occur every day to let you know that in fact it does have a good backup. And then you can see down here, as you look at your last recovery point, the date and time of that. This one is obviously only about 30 minutes old, and obviously that should not be much. That should not be older at all, rather, I should say, than the interval that's listed for this particular server. Next thing we'll look at is the recovery points themselves for these particular servers. Here you can see this one server particularly has a number of images that are able to be selected. What the use here is that regardless of how long ago an error occurred or how long ago a file got deleted, for instance, you want to have a variety of recovery points to choose from in order to restore some sort of file. So what I'll do here is let's say that I have to, or that I've got a report of a missing file from a particular server and it was deleted just after this recovery point here. I will select to explore this volume. So what that does after I select explore is that it virtually mounts that recovery point for viewing. I talked to you before about the mounted recovery points that it shows at the appliance level, and this is basically what it gives you. It gives you a window, just like it's like a normal Windows window, and it allows you to search through here to find that file that was supposedly deleted. Let's pretend that it was an icon in this case, in which case I could simply say copy, go back to where I wanted to paste it back to its original location, and paste it, and you are done. So that's basically, this shows you that even backing up things at an image level, that you can actually restore at a file level. So what I'm going to show you now is your ability to restore granular levels for an Exchange type of backup. So you'll do the process very similarly. You'll select the date and time that you want to recover from. You'll go to the Exchange database. You'll choose to explore that, and that will bring you up using basically an application that's separate from but included with this particular application. And for instance, it will allow you to see all mailboxes and all granular level items that were on the Exchange server at that time. You can see contacts, you can see mailboxes and things like that. And so for instance, I could go from this date time, I could go to a particular user, I could go to their inbox, and I could see individual messages that were in their inbox at the time. So in the case that somebody deleted something that they didn't mean to and they permanently deleted it, this is a way to go back, grab again an individual message, an individual contact, or an individual item from their calendar and restore it to them without any of their intervention. Okay, the last thing we'll touch on here is how to recover a complete machine either to the original hardware or dissimilar hardware, or to a virtual environment. So in the case that we're talking about this server that would have died and is completely unavailable for whatever reason, we have a couple of options. If you just go through this restore wizard, you can restore this particular server to its original source. You can conduct a bare metal restore using a boot disk, or you can restore to an alternate server. Let's pretend that you have a spare server sitting around and it is basically up and available. You can install an agent on it and then recover to it this way. There's only one final step here if you wanted to create a virtual machine with this, and I'll step through that right now. In this case, you would ask it to create a virtual machine, and then you basically follow this wizard here that would tell you to enter tell me what kind of virtual infrastructure you have, what kind of export do you want to do, give me the credentials, tell me the IP address, and all of those details. And what this thing will do is it will basically export this to that virtual environment and stand it up in the same way that you would stand it up on a piece of hardware. As you can see, just the recovery options that exist in image-based backups far exceed any sort of options that exist at a file level, and that is what makes this application so powerful. So hope this has shed some light and given some detail to the options that exist here. Thanks so much.